Okay, let's begin today's video recording. Today we will not talking about job description, but we talk about the Microsoft and the Microsoft products. For Microsoft, I have many years in Microsoft, but recently I use macOS developed by Apple. I think there is many difference of the two company and many difference about the two companies' product. So they let's talk about Microsoft by three views. First one, I will talk about one for from the opinion from the personal user, and second by the historical point of view. Third, and I will talk it about the commercial point of view. Okay, let's begin at the first topic. First is begin at the personal user. Uh, so I think maybe the most impression to every user, the most unbearable unbelievable thing about the Microsoft Windows is for users is the difficulty to adjust the screen resolution to adjust the screen resolution. Possibly the most annoying issue of Windows user from Microsoft is the DPI setting. If you purchase the new external monitor, the screen resolution may be 1990 by 1080, maybe 2K. It is maybe 20, 2560 by 1440, and maybe 2560 by 1080, and maybe 4K 3840 by 2560, and maybe 38 40 by 21 second. Sorry, is 38 40 by 2160. Yes. Sorry, I'm not very familiar about the numbers. You may if you use this different resolution external monitors, you will immediately be stuck with the dilemma of how to adjust the screen resolution. If you are unfortunately enough to buy a laptop with 4K resolution, but a screen size of just only 13 or 14 inches, you will be forced to choose between several Windows display output options of 100%, 150%, and 200%. Finally, when you use applications, you will be surprised to find that the content of some windows is blocked by hidden forms views by an overly large title bar. So that is why I have been using Apple systems and as my workhouse since I bought my Apple laptop 8 years ago. I think I'm a perfectionist. How to say the 完美主义
Perfectionist.
perfectionist. I think I'm a perfectionist. Apple's Retina display, Apple's Retina display gives consumer an experience they have never had before. Instead, contrast to the jagged text and the silly giant title bar on Windows. But then again, there are long-standing historical reasons for the vast difference between Apple and Windows in the area of display output, which has to do with the two companies' different approach to their products. The trouble about Windows. At the early use of the DPI concept, DPI scaling could be set to 100%, 125%, 150%, 200%, and so on. And there were different ways to handle it in the XP area, the Windows 8.1 area, and the Windows 10 area, which was obviously more troublesome overall. Which was obviously more troublesome overall. And on macOS, the concept of Retina from iPhone is actually used is much similar. Instead of drawing an all UI in pixel, it is called point. On Retina 2 times device, it is 1 point equal 2 pixel. On 3 times device, it is 3 pixel. Not yet available on Mac today, only on iPhone Plus series it is. And because the hardware and the software are all in one, Retina will only have the will only have integer multiplies analog to 200 dpi 200% dpi without problem like 1.5 times. Personally, I think it is still Apple that was bothered about compatibility. And when the first Mac Retina device was released with OS 10 10.8, it is just deprecated all of the APIs, so you couldn't use it. And the GUI frameworks, ecologically speaking, ecologically speaking, basically an absolute number of app kit. Very few Java applications and Qt applications due to the hardware and the software as one. The concept of Retina is better handled than DPI. The DPI is used by Windows. After all, there is no non-integer multiples. When the majority of Retina MacBook use got their device, collectives email born the software Windows support, plus the Mac App Store review was also a requirement for Retina support. So the big waiver of the manufacturers quickly updated to support Retina to attract users, or else it was out. But in Windows side, although the earliest in Windows 7 on the recognition of DPI API, but the supporting GUI framework has not kept on, and the various GUI framework competition as the Windows 8.1 era should have Metro, UWP predecessor, WPF, WinForm, Win34, MFC, Qt, several, so many competitors. So the GUI framework used by developers may not be up to date. The GUI framework for developers may not have been updated in time, and it wasn't hardware and software as a whole. The OEM hardware manufacturer didn't give a damn. The 2K and 4K screen was pushed too slowly, and only when the Windows 10 was promoted vigorously. How to pronounce this?
Vigorously.
Promoted vigorously, the APIs were added, resulting in the ecology, resulting in the ecology not keeping time, resulting in the ecology not keeping up in time, compared to the Windows 8, Windows 8.1 era. For the era or widespread use of Windows 10, it feels better now. In Microsoft's case, it was the failure to introduce the suitable development framework in time for the 2K, 4K screen market that makes the experience extremely poor for users. Okay, let's talk about the second opinion. It is from the historical point of view. Here we can have to mention Andy and Bill's law. Andy gives, Bill takes away. Andy is the CEO of Intel, and Bill is the CEO of Microsoft. Microsoft has made several majority mistakes. I think so from the very beginning at the Microsoft. They have killed Netscape Navigator. If Microsoft hadn't killed Netscape and instead concentrated on its own Windows operating systems, the entire internet ecosystem would have been much better. and Microsoft would hasten to expend so much effort developing and maintain the poor received IE browser. And you all know the IE has run out of the market. Second, I think the mistake is bomb in text file. If you have edited a plain text file in Notepad on Windows and stored it as UTF-8 format, you will be pleased to find that the file is not really in UTF-8 format, but in UTF-8 BOM format, where Microsoft has added a BOM identifier to the header of the plain text file. There are at least three problems with putting a BOM in UTF-8 encoding files. First, that hold on text are no longer empty because they are always contain the BOM. First, the hold text within the ask-tool subset of UTF-8 are no longer themselves the ask-call tool because the BOM is not an ask-call tool. And it is not possible to concentrate concatenate concatenate. It is not and it is not possible to concatenate several files together because of each file not have and it is not possible to concatenate several files together because each file now has a BOM at the beginning. This makes the data import and export scenarios extremely difficult, and users will have to turn to third-party tools to remove the BOM header in order for the plain text file to be recognized by other applications. Third mistake, Microsoft tried to block the free file format ODF because the format was not proposed by Microsoft and it would have threatened Microsoft's monopoly. I think I used the LibreOffice on macOS and it is so small and so quickly used on macOS, and by one app I can open the DOCX, Excel, and PPTX, and ODF, and save it as the compatible format. How to say 兼容的compatible and saved to compatible format. I think the ODF is a very good format, and the software is developed by C++. It is very good and high performance compared to the Microsoft Office on macOS. It is so slowly and hard to use and often occupies so many resources. Let's talk about it later. And four, Microsoft is forcing users to upgrade to new version of Office by not supporting older operating systems and older file formats. You may also find there is not compatible from the DOC and all of these files because they want to upgrade to Microsoft Office 365 file. The plan cost so much money. Okay, if you install Microsoft Office on macOS, that will be a disaster. You even cannot delete it thoroughly. If you install Microsoft Office on your macOS, you will find most of the system CPU and the resource is occupied by the Microsoft AutoUpdate.app. This app is hiding in the launch DAEMON. How to say DAEMON?
Daemon.
The app is hiding in the launch daemon and run errors that due to the huge energy waste and makes your computer run very slowly. If you delete the Microsoft Office just from the Finder to delete it, you will find the Microsoft Auto Updated app is also cannot be deleted. it still stay in your system and continues to detect whether you have installed Microsoft Office and always asking you to update for the new version. Even though I think it costs so many system resources, even I have using Microsoft, even though I'm using Apple's latest computer, M2 Max, and it cost me almost 2 days to completely delete Microsoft Office and all its components. Here, I can recommend your clean tools on macOS is named App Cleaner. It is very easy and very small software. You can download it by free. Okay, this is the second. Third, I will talk about Microsoft from the commercial point of view. If Windows had contributed to general purpose industrial software, it would not be without one great company named Boland. 30 years ago, during the 1990s, the three broad competitive landscape of developer tools, database, and operating systems have been formed as a result of the different first mover advantages that hardware and software companies are in. Finally, Oracle becomes the giant software which is independent from the operating systems and successfully avoid directly competition with Microsoft. But Boland is very unfortunate because Microsoft wants to be the only one development tools platform. This decision not only due to the die of Boland, but also due to the blackwellness of Microsoft's own development tools. 30 years later, Microsoft still not perfectly adapt its operating system to its development tools, data interface and display interface, nor has it developed a unified development platform as a whole, but just as a .NET framework. However, Microsoft, with the advantage of its own operating systems, beat Boland not only in the area of development tools, but also in the area of the Internet, the Netscape company. On the corpus of novel, Microsoft developed Active Directory. With the help of technology Google's captured with money, which became the perfect assistant to medium and large companies to manage their desktop and thus provided Microsoft with a steady stream of views. Fortunately, Java has finally grown up and taken over many of the enterprise software development needs in the Windows era. The .NET framework, on the other hand, becomes the grip of Microsoft's monopoly, the grip of Microsoft's monopoly, and rely on the strength of Microsoft Office to keep the enterprise firmly in its grasp. So we can see Microsoft Windows Active Directory and Office is the most important two Office component for middle and large company. These are the core competence. Competent. How to pronounce?
Competencies.
Competency. These are core competencies of Microsoft and contribute a huge income for Microsoft. The former prevent company users from install software by themselves to their computers at all, and while the latter works in conjunction with the former to meet the goal of document sharing and knowledge management within the large companies. But an example of the company that does not follow Microsoft Active Directory management is Qihoo. It is named also 360, which grew 20 years ago during the rapid growth of the internet in China. The company, taking advantage of people's fear of internet virus and hackers, released the free antivirus software and the so-called system cleaner to clean up the malware created by themselves, and hijacking users' browsers, computer desktops, and even keyboard input to gain access to large amounts of user information and in doing so, have become a China international portal giant. And this is why Microsoft Windows 8 is not widely used in Chinese enterprise, but popular in European and American companies. In fact, Microsoft's management of desktop PC is part of its corporation success. As far as enterprise applications are concerned, with the exception of the Office series, Microsoft products are simply how to pronounce it?
Synonymous.
Synonymous. Microsoft products are simply synonymous with the failure, such as the famous Windows 4. The one exception is Microsoft Dynamic. It is a very successful CRM system, good performance and reputation, but just in retail industry. In industrial manufacturing, in production distribution, it would be the beginning of a disaster if you use the Microsoft ERP products. That's all.